Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Devin Adams. I'm a Fortinet instructor here in Tempe, Arizona for Dynamic Worldwide Training Consultants, and I am rolling with this NSE 5 lab thing. And I made an executive decision before I go forward with my more complex FortiManager examples here, right? That I might as well just introduce a separate FortiAnalyzer. And the reason why is because the NSE 5 is made up of two exams, one on the FortiManager, one for the FortiAnalyzer, and I might as well get the FortiAnalyzer to at least start collecting logs and so on and so forth. In this video, we're just going to drop a separate FortiAnalyzer into our topology instead of relying just on the FortiManager to do both. Okay, the free license is still there. That's what I'm using here, and I've also already shown how to do this in previous videos, but I wanted to just keep it congruent. Okay, in other words, just in the flow of things. This has not been touched yet, but I'm going to give it an IP address of 10.10.10.240. And let's just go ahead and bring it into our topology and see how far we go. So I'm going to go ahead and double click here in GNS3. There's our logins, our login. So I'm going to do admin no password. That is the default. And I'm going to do a get system status just to show that it is the free VM. Okay, look at this. Even has a maximum number of ADOMs up to 10,000. Geez, that's insane. Anyways, but this will be good for a good 15 days, I believe, before we stop using it. No big deal. Looks like we have to change the time on it. That's not a big deal either. But let's go ahead and get access to it through the GUI. So I'm going to do a config system interface. I'll do a show real quick. And on port 1 is that 192.168.199. So I'm going to go ahead and edit port 1. And instead set the IP address to 10.10.10.240. I believe that's what I picked. Let me check my topology. Yep. With a /24. And I can leave everything else just the same. So I'll just do an end right there. All right. And now we should be able to get to it via the GUI. Let's go ahead and log into our Windows PC here. All right. There it is. And that is the FortiManager. So I'm going to go ahead and change the IP address to 240. Okay. Good times. Yep. And that's just because the cert's self-signed. Not a big deal, but there we go. There's the FortiAnalyzer. We'll log in with an admin, no password. It's going to prompt us to change that password. And remember, guys, in real life, it'd be a very long password, and you'd take it offline somewhere, and then you'd make your own individual admin accounts. Okay, but for this one, I'm just going to use a super secret password that you guys can't see. You can always check the eyeballs here too. Yeah, it's a test lab. Password's okay. All right, so there we go. And as you guys can see here, our FortiAnalyzer view has the device manager in it and settings and everything else, right? We saw on the FortiManager. But here, let's go ahead and make a couple of different changes here. So let's go over to our system widget, and I'm going to change the host name to something that's not stupid like that. All right, here we go. All right, so we'll just call this the FortiAnalyzer. There we are. Hit OK to commit it. All right. Also, let's see here. I do not want to use Pacific time because I am in Arizona. And it's important to make sure that everything, all right, is going to match up when it comes to terms of your times. So you don't want discongruent, or your timestamps on your logs to be all over the place. That's very important. I'll do a separate lesson on what's the difference between these two. All right. But essentially, guys, the analyzer is what's doing the analytics, the reportings. The collector can actually be like a workhorse. And I think eventually, because like I said, I'm just rolling with this, I'll put a collector somewhere out here in our remote side and just see how complex we can get our lab environment before the expiration dates. So, by the way, the FortiAnalyzer does require a minimum of 4 gigs, 2 VPUs or vCPUs. Sorry, guys. And I'm only using one right now, and I believe RAM-wise too, I am not using my full amount of RAM, so we can actually adjust that in a little bit. So, all right. Well, what else can we do here? So, now we can. All right. So let's see here. Let me not get ahead of myself. So, for starters, I'm also going to put the default gateway of the FortiGate that it's behind, and that way it can at least get out to the internet if it needs to. All right. So, and then we'll set up some admins in a little bit. So, not too bad there. All right. So, for right now, that is where I'm going to keep it. So, yeah, not too bad. All right. That looks pretty good. So, how do we get this thing to start pointing logs to the or the FortiGates to this bad boy here? So just like with the FortiManager, we have to authorize, all right, our logging devices. So I'm going to go ahead and log out. All right. Here we go. And I am going to log into our FortiManager. I guess I didn't have to log out. That was kind of a ding-dong-ish thing of me. So, okay, anyways. All right, so here we go. Let's go ahead and make a provisioning template for that. So let's go to our device manager. And we will set up VPN tunnels for these, and I'll wait till that IPsec tunnels are up to point these remote FortiGates to our FortiAnalyzer. For right now, I'm just going to have the local FortiGate reported. So here we go. All right, so I'll just do a new provisioning template. I'll say create new. I'll call this logging to FortiAnalyzer. Logging to FortiAnalyzer. All right, and I can use this provisioned templates later on to apply it to several FortiGates once I get my VPN tunnels up. So, but we're not concerned there. I wonder if I could just toggle the widgets real quickly by unselecting them here. Whole heck of a lot faster. There we go. All right. And we're going to send logs to the FortiAnalyzer. Okay. We're going to do a specific, and we're going to say 10.10.10.240, and we'll go ahead and do it in real time. All right. We'll say accept. Because we are internal, we don't have to encrypt the logs. That's fine. All right. Assign to devices, and we'll assign it to that local FortiGates. All right. So once again, this is applying the settings where? Only to the device manager database for the individual FortiGate that we just did. All right, so when we go back to our dashboard, we should have a modified status. This is kind of like a little review there. All right, see, modified. And then we can go ahead and use the installation wizard to push down those settings to the actual device. And I'll use the wizard to do so. All right. Okay. And that will just go ahead and take a moment. Now, if you guys do get errors here or anything like that, the best place to diagnose those are right here. All right, because you can actually see what settings they're doing in real time to make those changes. So you'll see it error out here, and you can see what particular objects might be giving you a problem. Okay. All right, so we actually have that done. So let's go over to our FortiManager now and see what happened there. All right. Did I say FortiManager? I meant FortiAnalyzer. And look at that. We have a new device. Okay. Unregistered device. There it is. And we'll go ahead and add it. And now it is going to be sending logs here. So not too bad. So maybe we should test it. Are you guys ready? Let's go get a virus. All right. I've been using this EICAR file thing a lot. Hopefully it doesn't cache anything. Here we go. And there is always a little delay, by the way, by the time that a thread actually comes in to the logs appearing on the FortiAnalyzer, just the way that it indexes it. And we'll go over all of that someday. So here we go. Just want to make sure to test some functionality. All right. My bad. Went to the wrong place. Here we go. I'll try this text file next time. So, oh, look at that. Oh man, got caught. Okay, so over at our FortiAnalyzer, let's hit F5. Hopefully those, see, the little green. Now, just because that's red, it only means that the FortiAnalyzer has not seen logs in the last few moments. It does not necessarily mean that it's down. So that's why I hit refresh there, knowing that logs were sent to it for that threat. So let's go over to our FortiView. All right. And if they don't show up here in our FortiView as a threat, yep, that's not uncommon. We can always see the more real-time part that doesn't get indexed quite yet here. And as you can see, the fact that it even shows antivirus on here means that it did detect it, and there it is. So it did pick it up. We can go ahead and drill down and look at the details and do our investigation, so on and so forth, if it's a real threat. So there you guys go. So I'm gonna also you know, once everything's kind of up and flowing and logs are coming in, then I'll turn my attention over to more of the FortiAnalyzer concepts. So this is obviously not supposed to replace the class that I teach. I'm just trying to show you guys enough proof of concepts so you can study for your NSE 5 using these free VMs. So in this video, guys, once again, we just added a FortiAnalyzer independently from the FortiManager, okay, to do our analytics and things like that. So in fact, you know what? Like I said, I'm just rolling with these, okay? Let's go ahead and increase the memory in the CPUs on this FortiAnalyzer. So if you go ahead and do a execute shut, it will gracefully bring down the FortiAnalyzer. You never want to power them off, not in real life or in the labs, guys. It is a database, so it can get corrupted, okay? You're always going to want to be as graceful as possible there. So, and then in GNS3, we can actually right-click that machine and edit it and give it a little bit more resources. Just make sure that you're keeping an eye out on your resources. Like I'm using a laptop to do this that's about 100 years old, it feels like. So if it catches on fire, I know why. Anyways, there we go. Once we get the red, we know that it's down. Let's go ahead and right click and go to configure. I know that's kind of hard to see there, guys, because my resolution's so low. But right here it says vCPUs. I'm going to increase that to 2. All right. And where it says 1024, I'm going to put 4096. Wow, that is small. I undocked it so I could watch cartoons as the adult that I am while I do this. So must have messed up my resolution. So let's see if that comes back alive. So you can double click it, by the way, while it boots up so you can see the post and everything. And if GNS3 did not have a problem with it, we should get some kind of, oh, there we go, some kind of output. So yeah, so once that boots up, I'll just go ahead and verify in the GUI that the resources were increased to 2 CPUs and also 4 gigabytes of RAM. I'm impressed that even with the free trial, it lets you crank it up that high. So there we go. And then once we get a login screen here, we should be able to go back to our PC1. All right. Clear this junk out. Okay. And we're just going to verify that the resources have been allocated through GNS3. Because, using all the indexing and using all the analysis, using all the reporting, it needs to have a little bit more resources, so that's not a bad thing. All right. And as you guys can now see, we do not have any error messages with our system resources. We do have a multi-core that we can click through and see the distribution. Okay. And then also our memory use, which was at 53 or 60, is now at 25, and that's how it should be. So there you guys go. So not only did we get this thing active, we also got its we also got the right resources allocated to it. So good times there. I guess I'll just do one very last thing, okay? And that is backing up the configuration. So we saw how to do that in the last lab, but I'm going to do it now. All right, so I'm going to back it up just so we have something to, roll back with. So now the FortiAnalyzer backup should be a little bit smaller, okay, than the FortiManager because it's only doing the settings, also the device settings. It is not doing any of the, logs itself. So this is just to maintain the actual FortiAnalyzer's objects and things like that. It's still pretty big though. Anyways, but I promise you, it's not backing up all the gigabytes of log files that this thing can do. So, all right, guys, we've already seen that happen, so I'm just gonna let that roll. But I hope you enjoyed that video. And like I said, we went ahead and brought in the FortiAnalyzer and increased the resources. And I'm just plowing along here. Like I said, I really want to get some examples spit up before Monday here. So hopefully you found that helpful, and if you didn't, I'm sorry, and I'll talk to you guys later. All right.